What's up, everybody? It's Coach Matt O'Brien. I'm coming to you live here at TrYumph Fitness and Nutrition in Largo, Florida. And in this short video, I want to give you the 5 easy steps to make health simple, or as I like to say, health made simple in 5 easy or simple steps. So before I do that, real quick, let me just give you a little bit of background of myself. I'm Coach Matt O'Brien. I'm the founder of TrYumph Fitness and Nutrition, creator of the Forever Diet System, author of the Magic Pill and Fitness Fuel. And over the past 22 years, I've been doing this professionally as a trainer, nutritionist, and health coach. I've invested over $200,000 of my own money in coaches, clinics, masterminds, conferences, on-site virtual summits, and mentorships to become the best health coach that I can be. And that's not even including the self-development and the reading, literally over 1,000 books now. So it's all about progressing and learning the science. And my undergraduate degree from the Air Force Academy was in biology with a emphasis on exercise physiology, biochemistry, and nutrition and health. So that really, I hope, qualifies me, but more importantly, 22 years of working with actual clients. And I can tell you for sure, you may have the best philosophies in the world, but if they don't work in the real world, they're shit. I'm gonna get a little bit graphic with my language because we are in the middle of the real pandemic, which is this metabolic dysfunction. 88% of Americans now, according to a massive study released in 2017, are metabolically dysfunctional, which means you're either pre-diabetic or diabetic, somewhere on that metabolic dysfunction spectrum. And those have been proved, or metabolic dysfunction is correlated directly with disease and mortality. So that is my soapbox, that we got to wake up. You have got to make health a priority in your life, and you've got to put it on your to-do list. You got to make it a focus. You got to put it on your calendar, and just don't tread through life until it's too late. Some people, 55% of people's first heart attacks are their last because they don't survive. And this happened to me, or not to me, but to a good friend of mine last November. And at 37 years old, he left 2 young children behind and his wife. So that is the legacy I promised at his celebration of life, is that I'm going to make it a point to emphasize health. So that being said, a little bit of background there. Let's get into health made simple in 5 simple, easy steps that anybody can do. Number 1 is you got to move your ass. And you don't have to make this complicated, but sitting is the new smoking, if you haven't heard. Being sedentary is definitely contributing to all the metabolic dysfunction and obesity and diabetes that are escalating at pandemic rates in America and the entire world. So movement is important. I call it movement is the magic. So how can you do this and implement this very quickly and easily in your life? Set an alarm and what I call movement snacks. I actually stole this movement snack terminology from Ben Greenfield, really smart dude. You can follow him, check him out. He breaks the science down at a level that is beyond impressive. If you are into that, check that out. But movement snacks are basically every hour, set an alarm. So for 5 minutes to 7 minutes out of every hour, you get up, sit down, you walk around, you go outside, you move. Just move, but you gotta program it. Set an alarm, create a healthy behavior, a healthy habit, so that you implement it. All right? So that is how you can implement movement snacks into your sedentary life. And then beyond that, schedule outdoor activities, things that you enjoy. I don't care what it is. If you're moving and you're able to do it, that's great. If you have a guilty pleasure Netflix show that you love to watch but you feel guilty talking about, do that in conjunction with some kind of low steady state movement and you have a win-win combination, and you'll look forward to it. I personally do my low intensity movement while listening to podcasts because I absolutely love to learn. I've listened to over 1,000 hours of functional health podcasts by experts around the world, and it has helped me get better as a coach. All right, so that's number one. Number two is you've got to lift some shit. You gotta lift. You have got to do what we call resistance training, moving a force with your muscles or using force through your muscles to move an object against gravity, or it could be an exercise bands, or it could be a cable stack system, it could be a total gym. I don't care what it is, you got to create resistance to stimulate the muscles to build and maintain your lean mass and strength. Studies have beyond proven now that strength and lean mass will be directly correlated with functional health span and longevity. So it's been said by experts way smarter than me that strength and lean mass are the new currency of aging. So that just means the stronger you are, the more muscle you have, especially going into your 70s, the better quality of life and the longer life that you will be able to enjoy. So lift some weights. If you have no clue or are intimidated, scared, have zero knowledge or experience, hire a trainer. If you are local in Largo, this is what we do. We do it in personal one-on-one. We do it in group and small group. And we have hybrid combinations where we might work with you personal training until you build that confidence and then transition to group training, which is insanely affordable, like $9 to $12 a session compared to $60 to $80 for personal training. Typically, that's the going rate around the country. And until you build that confidence. And so that's our core business here, is the group personal training to help make it affordable, but also guide and instruct people and put it in a community that makes it fun and energizing to ensure you come back. So I say the community is the magnet that draws you back. So that is number two, lift some shit. Number three is that you have to eat a low glycemic nutrition plan or a low glycemic diet. I know diet is a 4-letter word and everybody hates diet, but by definition is basically what you stuff in your mouth. So whatever you want to call it, nutrition plan, what you eat, I don't care. The food that you eat needs to be low glycemic. And what does that mean? If you have no clue what that means, basically the glycemic index of a food is how fast and how high it's going to raise your blood sugar. Here's the secret. When it comes to low glycemic nutrition, eating real, whole, natural, actual foods, whatever descriptor term you want to use, is the secret. So that doesn't mean whole wheat in the form of crackers. That is a processed food. Actually, it's an ultra-processed food. Processed and ultra-processed foods, you got to get them out of your diet. You can't drink or snack your calories. So that's a bonus tip for you. But get those processed and ultra-processed foods. I don't care if it says whole grains. If it doesn't look like what was in the ground, that's not a whole food. That's a processed food. Real food looks like it was in nature, or if it's beef or a protein, it means it was sliced off the animal. If it's a vegetable, it looks like it was as you pick it out of the ground, versus some kind of processed powder that goes into combination with other ingredients. So get rid of those, eat real foods. The low glycemic foods are good quality proteins and non-starchy vegetables. That should be 70 to 80% of your nutrition. If you do that and do nothing else, you will be healthy with your movement and your lifting. So I'm not going to get into all the science, but high glycemic foods and high glycemic starches will raise your blood sugar. That triggers insulin, and insulin then therefore triggers insulin resistance, leptin resistance, and all kinds of fatty liver disease, and a lot about it, and then ultimately metabolic dysfunction. So if you're getting your fasting blood sugar and your A1C and you think you're okay, you could be wrong. By the time those are elevated, it's been 10 years of metabolic dysfunction. And 88% of America and now the world is catching on too, is metabolically dysfunctional. So another real quick bonus tip, get your fasting insulin checked. Fasting insulin will reveal metabolic dysfunction way before A1C and way before fasting blood glucose. If your doctor won't do it, get a different doctor. That's all I'm going to say. So that was number 3, eat low glycemic nutrition. Number 4, you got to sleep. Sleep and recovery are critical and vital to health. And when it comes to sleep, it's 2 things, quality and quantity. I would argue that quality is more important than quantity. And the only way you can figure that out, outside of going to a sleep study, which I think is artificial anyway, I don't know if that would reveal your actual sleep because you got wires trapped to you, you got people waking you up, you're like in a foreign environment. The best way to track your sleep is with a fitness tracker, which I'm going to mention which ones they are. I use these with my clients. They work really well. Fitbit, Oura Ring, O-U-R-A, Whoop Band, W-H-O-O-P, and the Apple Watch. All 4 of those have excellent sleep tracking functionalities. So you work with an app, you wear it at sleep. I would recommend tracking your sleep for 2 weeks to gauge how much REM sleep you're getting, how much slow wave sleep you're getting, and how much light sleep. So you go through 90-minute sleep cycles, and in those cycles, you're gonna get some REM, you're gonna get some slow wave or deep sleep, and some light sleep. If your sleep is chronically and consistently interrupted, where you're not going into those REM and slow wave sleep cycles because you have pets that are jumping in your bed, you have kids, early moms, you got to make the sacrifice. But later on, moms, if your kids are still jumping in your bed at 3, 4, 5 years old, you are taking years off your life, or at least months off your life. But you may have a snoring spouse, who knows? But a sleep tracker will reveal if the sleep pattern is getting interrupted. So the good news is if you are getting quality sleep in 6 hours and you're getting an hour of REM and an hour of slow wave in 6, that trumps getting 8 hours of sleep where you don't get those 2 hours of REM, single hour of REM, single hour of slow wave. So that's just kind of a metric. Use a sleep tracker for 2 weeks, see where you're at. And if you're not there, you got to do something about it, because the longer that goes, the longer you're going to have problems. And it elevates your cortisol levels. It's going to make you affect your eating, your willpower, your fat storage. It's just not worth it. It's going to take years off your life if you just don't address it. So that was number 4. Number 5 is you got to drink. And I'm not talking about alcohol. I'm talking about good old-fashioned H2O, water. So don't drink your calories. Like I said, don't snack your calories, but you don't have to go crazy. There's a lot of people that more is better is not true. 80 to 100 ounces for most people is going to be sufficient for adequate hydration, because when you factor that in with the water content of real whole foods that you're going to eat because of step number 3, protein is predominantly water, 60 to 70%. It's obviously going to go down depending on how you cook your food. The longer you scorch it, the less hydrated your meat will be. Vegetables have a lot of water content. So if you're eating those real whole foods, you're going to get a decent amount of water from that. Also in the other beverages you drink, coffee, tea, unsweet, you'll get that fluid counts too. So 80 to 100 ounces. The caveat is for every hour of intense exercise where you're actually sweating, or if you live in a dry, hot environment, like Las Vegas as an example, you're going to lose water faster. So for every hour, you want to add a liter of water or a quart of water, 32 ounces, to compensate for that extra dehydration. So 80 to 100 ounces plus a liter of water per hour of activity. If you are going for more than an hour, then you may need to consider some electrolytes. And you can get those now in the form that don't come with a lot of added sugar, like popular sports drinks have glucose added to them. You don't necessarily need that. One company called Element, LMNT, has a non-caloric electrolyte solution that you can pour in your water. They have lots of flavors. So that would be my recommendation if you need something and you want to replace electrolytes. But if you're going out, golfing, or you're just working out casually in an air-conditioned facility, you don't need to be drinking Gatorade. Drink water. So that is number 5. So let's recap. Why do we need to be healthy? Because you don't want to have less time on the earth. You want to have a functional, wonderful, amazing life to enjoy all the beautiful things that God put on the planet for us to enjoy, your family, your children, your grandchildren. So there's definitely incentive, and none of us wants to be a burden to anybody. And ultimately, that's where the nursing home business is exploding because of the downstream effects of metabolic dysfunction. So let's recap those 5 easy steps. Number 1, going to come at you fast. Move your ass. Number 2, lift some shit. Number 3, eat low glycemic, real, whole, actual food. Number 4 is you got to sleep. And number 5, you got to drink your water. I hope you found this useful. If you can, please like and share and subscribe. I'm building this part of my awareness as a channel on YouTube and other platforms to get the word out and to do my part to take my experience, what I've learned. I'm 53, almost 54 years old. I've practiced what I preach now for the past 5 years, eating a reasonably healthy and very healthy for the last 10 to 15 years. And I can still do everything I could as a Division I athlete in my early 20s and teen years. I can still keep up with the 30-year-old that I work out with. I can still lift the same amount of weight. So use it or lose it. But it's never too late to start. You got to get on it so that by the time you're 70, you have the most brain, bone, muscle, and strength that you can possibly have. So if you haven't started yet, get started. If you are local or you want to meet virtually, I absolutely love to help people. You can book a live or virtual consultation through my website, TrYumpHFitness.com, and I spell TrYumph with a Y because the Y in TrYumph is you. So that's TrYumph Fitness, TrYumph.com. You'll see the book free consultation tab. And there's a question to ask, on-site or virtual. And that's how we can do it, via Zoom or FaceTime if you're not local. But if you are local, I'd love to have you come check us out, book a consultation. I'll do an in-body assessment. That'll give us a body composition test of your entire body and your metabolism. And we'll talk about your goals, your experience, and get you plugged in, hopefully, to a cost-effective solution to maximize, optimize your health and keep it that way. So thank you for tuning in. If you did find this valuable, please like, subscribe, but also share it with somebody you love, you care about, and I'll catch you on the next video. Coach Matt O'Brien, stay strong, my friends.